Welcome to the second lecture for Unit 1 of English 2. The first lecture we did basic introduction into language used in everyday conversation at universities. We looked at some of that language and the grammar. We did a bit of practicing. In the second hour, we're going to be doing more practice and focusing on that. Let's go to the next page in our textbooks, page 6. In this activity, speaking task 2, we're going to be practicing creating sentences about people's activities. Now, on the previous page, we had talked about using ing in many different forms, such as if we wanted to talk about general activities happening these days that will end in the future, or if you wanted to talk about something that is happening right now. Those grammar points were explained here and here. Right now we're going to look at current ongoing events on page 6, and you and your partner are going to find out what these people are doing. So some of the people we're going to talk about are individuals like Rachel and Anil, and some of them are going to be couples like Hiroshi and Akiko, and Bob and Colin. And in this activity, we're going to be asking if they're doing certain activities. Okay? So if you know Victor, and if you think he is reading a book, you might ask somebody, is Victor reading a book? And they might answer, yes, he is. Yes, he is reading a book. Or they might say, no, he is not. No, he is doing another activity. Okay. Same thing when you're talking about a group of people. Okay. So in the previous page, we talked about the Wilsons. Are the Wilsons studying? Are Krista and Tiffany studying? Okay. Yes, they are studying. Yes, they are studying. Or in this case, no. They are having lunch. Okay. So they are not studying. They are eating lunch. And these are activities that are happening right now. So reading a book or studying is a fairly precise activity. It doesn't take very much time. Okay. So you're going to practice these language forms. First, you're going to talk about Rachel, then Anil, Bob and Colin, and then you can talk about the other people listed below. In each activity, you're going to ask about something that they're doing. So we know Rachel, and we're going to ask if she is working. Now, we already know that she is not working. We know the true answer is that she is lying in bed. Okay? But we're going to practice these forms anyway. So with a partner, one partner can be A, the other partner can be B. So A will ask the question, B will answer. And again, if you're studying alone, you can take both roles. Let's try number 1 together as a group. What's the first question that you're going to ask involving Rachel? Okay, so probably you're going to ask, is Rachel working? The answer? No. No. She is lying in bed. Okay. So she's not working. she's lying in bed. She can't do both at the same time. Okay, so she's not working, she's lying in bed. I'm going to let you do the other, talk about the other people in this activity. You and your partner can switch every question. And when you're finished, you can, so just pause it while you do the activity. And then when you're finished, you can, we'll go over the answers and see how you did. All right, so just reviewing the answers here. We already talked about Rachel, and Anil will use a lot of the same forms. Okay, the difference is the subject pronouns will be different. So for Anil, is Anil checking his email? The answer? No. He's paying bills online. Okay, so that's what he is doing right now. What about Bob and Colin? I think from the picture, it's pretty obvious what they're doing. We're going to be asking about their activities. Are Bob and Colin hiking? The answer? No. They are fishing. They're fishing. Looking at the picture, I'm not sure who is Bob and who is Colin. But we don't have to ask about that. All right, moving down the page here, we're going to talk about Lauren. What about Lauren? Is Lauren driving? Answer? No. She's taking a bus. Okay. All right. And if her blood alcohol level is high, that's a good idea. Okay. Good. So we're talking about Lauren. Next, we're going to talk about these two people. You can see from the picture, outside, sitting on a boat. Are Hiroshi and Akiko jet skiing? Ski would be the verb. Are they jet skiing? The answer? No. They are sailing. They're sailing. That's what they're doing right now. Maybe later they will jet ski. Right now, they are sailing. All right, and what about Sloan? Okay, so right now, is Sloan recording a video? I see a camera. So maybe Sloan is recording a video. Is Sloan recording a video? No. She's taking a picture. From the looks of it, an old school selfie with a tripod. So that's what she is doing right now. What about Jack? I see Jack. He looks like he is at an ATM. Is Jack withdrawing money? No. Jack is depositing money. So if you withdraw money, you take it out of the bank. So I thought Jack was taking money out of the machine. I thought he was receiving money. Apparently, he's depositing the money. He is giving the money to the bank. Okay. And finally, Jill and Art. What are they doing? I see them on a court. They've got rackets. Are Jill and Art playing tennis? No. They are playing squash. And if you're not sure about that, we have some translations here. Okay, so that's how we ask about certain activities. Again, if you're asking about activities, if it looks like Rachel is working or Bob and Colin are hiking, you might ask questions about that. Sometimes those questions will be wrong, and people will give you the correct information. Likewise, if people are asking you about people, asking about Sloan recording a video, asking about Lauren driving, you can correct them. You can tell them no and say what they are doing right now. Okay. All right, so these are kind of closed questions, and you've had a bit of experience asking about what people are doing right now. And that concludes page 6. Let's go to page 7. All right, so on page 7, we're going to take a break from the speaking. We're going to focus on a bit of language. It's a fairly useful activity. A lot of students tend to get confused over different verbs, whether they're actual verbs or the auxiliary verbs, the helper verbs that the English language uses in questions and in negative sentences. Okay. So the activity, as it says here, it says fill in the blanks with the correct forms of be, do, and have. Okay. Use negatives and contractions when needed. Okay. So you can see the request that they're doing here. All right, so for the self-practice, you're going to fill in the blanks. As you can see from the example, do you go to a community college? No, I do not. I am studying at a university. So give these blanks so we know these are the correct answers. We know we use an auxiliary verb do when we're talking about an action. Okay. And when you're answering a do question, you use do in the answer. So if the answer is no, there's a negative. Notice the answer is don't. The answer is we could not write the words do not because we're looking just for one word. So sometimes, as it says here, you'll want to use contractions when needed. So in this case, a contraction, okay, taking two words and making it one, you'll have to use it at that time. Okay. We know this is the be verb because we have an ing ending right here. And since the subject is I, means the verb must be am. Okay, so the be verb must take the form of am. Okay. All right, so you can do that for each of these numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When you're finished, press play and we will go over the answers. Okay, okay, for the answers, I'm going to use the ebook practice here. It should work quite well. So let's look at the answers. Now number 1 and number 3 are kind of similar, so we'll try these. Number 1, what blank your parents blank in the yard? Now it's possible you could write what do your parents do in the yard. That's talking about a regular basis. We know from the answer that they're not talking about a general activity. They're talking about right now. So we see this ing form. Okay. So just looking at this, my dad, it's a third person. So I'll use the be verb is. My dad is mowing the lawn. Okay. And this form is the same form here. My dad is mowing the lawn and my mom is planting flowers. It's a good answer. We know from this sentence talking about right now. Okay. Now, my answers here are incorrect. If the verb is ing here, then it must be ing for the question. Okay. And We use the do verb for actions. Yes, in the present tense, but we're talking about the we're talking the progressive, present progressive. So like here, I am studying, okay, for a statement. And the question is going to be is, are. So we're talking about two other people, they. What are they doing in the yard? He is mowing the lawn and she is planting flowers. How'd I do? Good. We'll skip down to number 3 because it's much the same. What blank Shirley blank now? So now, I think we're talking about the same tense. We're talking about right now. And we could see that in the answer. She blank getting ready to go out. So we have the ing. Must use the be verb here. Which form? Am, is, are, is. Okay, so she is getting ready to go. So what blank Shirley doing now? She is getting ready to go. Okay, so the same subject and verb agreement here, just in the different order. So what is Shirley doing? Shirley is getting ready to go. Good. Number 2. Okay, so we're talking about your roommates. What would the answer be? Have your roommates home? Are your roommates home? Do your roommates home? Okay, so home is not a verb, so it can't be do. The answer is are. Are your roommates home? You could use the word have if there is a past participle afterwards. Okay, so in this case, you're describing your roommates or the person's roommates. Are your roommates at home? We usually don't use prepositions in relation to home. Are your roommates home? No, we're looking for one word, so they are not, or they aren't. I blank know where they blank. Okay. So they aren't. So we have a negative, and with the negative, you're going to have the auxiliary verb with the negative. Okay. But again, we can't say do not. We will say, let's make it one word. So don't. Are your roommates home? No, they aren't. I don't know where they are. Good. Number 4. Is your friend a car? No. So, what verb goes with car? Do a car? Is a car? Have a car? I think it's have. It's something you would possess. Are your friend have a car? In this case, the question should be does. So in this one, have is not an auxiliary verb for the past participle. It's an actual verb. You possess, you have a car. Okay? So it's just a regular verb. So do you have a car? I have a car. Does your friend have a car? No, he, what are we answering? Does not. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't have a car. He has a motorcycle. So the same verb, but in this case it's a question, so the subject and verb agreement goes to the auxiliary verb. Here, it's a statement, positive statement. There's no auxiliary verb, so the verb has to agree with the subject. It's the only verb. Number 4 looks pretty good. 5. Answer. So, is Victor good? So, you're describing him. So, with an adjective. Okay. Yeah, math is neither here nor there. So, is Victor good at math? Yes, he is. He studies engineering. All engineers are good at math. If you want to use the ebook, you can use these activities. You can do them over and over again, as I said before. It allows you to keep practicing until you get it right. It allows you to review later. It allows you to study now, and you get feedback on this. Okay. Let's go down to self-practice 2. This is a writing activity. And will involve some matching. This activity, you have a number of verbs at the top here, and what you're going to do is you're going to match each of these verbs with the person who is doing them. Okay? So play a video game, talk on the phone, watch sports on TV, type a report, listen to music, drink coffee, take a nap, send a text message. Okay? Now the last one, send a text message, the person doing that is number 1. You can see Miles here, number 1. We've written the letter H. So the first thing you're going to do is match these verbs with these people. You can write the letters in these white dots here. Okay. Once you've finished matching the action with the picture, then you can write a complete sentence. So we have a subject, Miles. Okay. We know the verb send. We're talking about activities that are happening right now. So Miles is sending a text message. Okay. We see that in the picture. That's what he is doing right now. Okay. So just pause and match the verbs with the picture. And then when you finish that, you can write out sentences about what each person is doing in the picture. Then we'll do a quick review. All right, so number 1 is done for you. Number 2, looking at Alan. What is Alan doing? Okay. Alan, E. Alan is listening to music. So write that here. Number 3, okay. Jim. What is Jim doing? Okay. I think it's obvious. G. Jim is taking a nap. Number 4. Okay, we've got Ruth here. What is Ruth doing? Ruth, letter F, Ruth is drinking coffee. Number 5, Jenny. What is Jenny doing? Answer, D. Jenny is typing a report. Number 6, Lex. What is Lex doing? He is watching sports on TV. Number 7, Anne. What is she doing? The answer is A. Anne is playing a video game. And that leaves number 8, Courtney. What is Courtney doing? Answer, B. Courtney is talking on the phone. You can just write those answers here. So again, these are activities that they are doing now. Usually in class, maybe you remember this from English 1, but usually when we talk about pictures, we use this tense, even though these people are probably not doing these activities now. Certainly when the picture was taken, these are the activities they were doing. So we just say they are doing these activities. Okay, let's go to the next page and we'll wrap up with a information gap activity. All right, so with the information gap activity on page 8, in fact, only one of you will be on page 8. So if you're with a partner, one of you will stay on this page, because that makes you classmate B. Classmate A, as it says here, you're going to turn to page 100. Okay? And we'll do that in a minute. Classmate B, you're going to match these majors, okay, with these study areas. Okay? So the list of majors are foreign language, geography, tourism, architecture, sports science, and biology. Okay? You can match these with these areas of study. Basically, when you're in these majors, what do you do? What do you study? Okay, so what does an architecture major study? What does a geography major study? What does a foreign language student study? The answer for a foreign language? Okay. She studies translating. Okay. So you're going to match these majors with the study area. Student A, you're going to turn to page 100. That should be at the back of your book in the appendix. Okay. We can see that here. You're going to do the same thing, but with a different set of content. So student A, your majors are computer engineering, nursing, agriculture, political science, psychology, and history. So what are the study areas for those? Okay, so for computer engineering, I think the answer is programming. Okay, good. There's number 1. So I'll let you and student B finish your matching activity, and then we will continue with that. All right, so student B, you can continue. Probably matched most of these. I'm going to go here. Geography, we're talking about world places. Architecture, we're talking about building design. Sports science, you're talking about physical training. Biology is the study of living things. Okay? You can match all of those. Now that you've finished that, checked your answers, you can go down to part 2 here, and you're going to ask questions for your partner. Okay. Now, this information in part 1, that's where you're going to answer. So in part 2, you're going to ask these questions. Okay. And you're going to ask questions about nursing majors, history majors, computer engineering majors, political science majors, agriculture majors, and psychology majors. Okay? And you're going to ask the question here. Okay? Answers are given by your partner, and your partner has the answers on page 100. Okay. So for example, if you ask, what do history majors study? Your partner will answer, they study past societies. That will be their answer, and you can write down past societies right here. Okay. Student A, your answers for part 1. As I said, I think they study programming. Okay. Nursing, the answer is C. Agriculture, the answer is A. Political science, we get F. Psychology, D. And history, that's post-societies, past societies. Good. Can't win them all. Good. All right, we're going to, once you've done that, your partner is going to ask you questions about what people in these majors study. Your answers are here. For you, you're also going to ask your partner questions about his list on page 8. You're going to ask your partner about architecture majors, foreign language majors, sports science majors, tourism majors, biology majors, and geography majors. Okay. So if you ask your partner, what do foreign language majors study? They study translating. Write that here. By the end, you should have each other's answers, so you should have all the information. Again, if you're studying alone, this might be a lonely activity, but you'll get to practice all the language, and you'll learn some new vocabulary as well. So that concludes the second lecture. I hope you enjoyed the lessons this week, and we'll have more lessons for Unit 2 at a later time.